Hello?
Okay, Mr. Abdul, unmute your audio. All right, I think we are directed to the live video. Okay, I think
Can you hear me?
it's your time. You can go ahead to speak.
Are you clear now? Hello? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, bro. For me, I'm getting you.
Andre, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, Mr. Isma. Mr. Isma, kindly.
Yes, please.
Mr. Isma, kindly mute your. Mr. Isma, kindly mute your audio so that we give the audience to Mr. Abdul. Thank you very much. So you are most welcome, everyone, anyone who is watching this video live on YouTube and the different platforms from where you're going to be watching it. So today, in today's class, we have Mr. Abdul, who is going to be unveiling the different parts of the espresso machines, because most of the baristas have a challenge that we know most of the software parts. We know most of the software parts on how we can easily operate the different espresso machines, but when it comes to the in-depth or the engines of the espresso machines, we have a challenge. That's why you find us. Having to call different mechanics, different machine operators, but yet we baristas can also do the operation. So, Mr. Abdul, I'll be redirecting the class to you, and I think I'll be muting myself. So, Mr. Abdul, are you there?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Okay, so Mr. Abdul, I think the platform is yours.
All right. So, okay. Oh, thank you so much. Good evening once again. Good evening to everyone from wherever you're watching us. This is Gulf&Blends Coffee Academy. Yes, everyone has been, I know everyone has had a very long week. Now we are having, I'm so grateful to meet you again live on our webinar. Today, I would like each and every person to kind of give this attention to your espresso coffee machine. It has been a task that each all baristas using their espresso machine, they have been having challenges with issues with parts that the machine has got, and they are willing to kind of learn, they are willing to get the knowledge from the right person. So here we are today, and me, but myself, Yusuf Abdul, I would love to take you through parts of the machine and also gadgets required as a barista that you might be having necessarily if you're doing the cleaning, well and good, and if you are to open the machine and also observe from the inner bit of it. So today, here we go, and we would love to kind of look at the machine. What is inside the machine? What takes place in the machine? How do we grab our espresso out? And what exactly does it take for a coffee machine to pull out espressos make cappuccinos and all the commercial-based drinks. So here we are. So these are some of the tools that you may need to, before you start using your espresso machine. Some of the tools you might need a flat screwdriver. Okay, you might as well need, the spanner. You might need this open box spanner that you might need. It's important for you to use it if you need to open some of the parts that are required to use certain tools of that kind. I've got my tester, so important. This is a device that you can use to detect whether there is electricity. Okay? The machine comprises, or it is being driven by electricity. So in case there is an electric leakage somewhere, you can as well use this very simple device. Actually, most of you have seen it from shops, from friends, from technicians. They always move with that. Also, your meter, the hardware part of the espresso machine, to kind of also get to know and also more of the troubleshooting. So let me grab my glove before we start any kind of opening to the machine. I grab my glove for the safety of my fingers, and I don't really mess up and also handle rest on the side to enable me to reach the inner part of the machine. All right, so this is how we go. So this beautiful machine is a single group espresso coffee machine. Yeah, looks a little bit old, but it's still working. And whoever made it, he did a very perfect job. It's a Wega espresso coffee machine. Yeah, it's comprised of a grinder, so it's an induced grinder within the machine inside. So it's like a self-made. You can easily use it, without trying to source for different grinder in anywhere place. You can use the machine. It has a grinder, so it's so easy to kind of use it. So I would open it from the top. Inside bit of it. All right, yeah, that's good. Okay, here we go. Yeah, look at that too. You look from inside. Then try to get through the inside bit of it. That's how it looks like. Look at that. These are, some of the work that has been done for, some of those days, So I've got, this is the grinder blade. I could easily take it off, to ensure that we look at what happens inside the grinder as well. Since this has been, a task for us to ensure that we observe the inner bit of the machine. Some of the grinders, you just turn them to the opposite side and the blades just easily unscrew themselves, so you can kind of get it out very easily. But you take care when you're doing it such that the blade, the screws on the grinder, most of the time, they are not easy. You need to put in some kind of effort, make sure that it comes out. Here, I have it. Look at it. These are how the blades look like of the grinder. Since the machine has got a grinder inside, so it's got the lower blade and also the upper blade. So when the grinding takes place, there is kind of friction that helps the grinder to move. So here we go. So some of the machines, you need to unscrew it so much such that you get the inside bit of it, but lucky enough, there is a provision for this machine that you can reach it easily from the inside by use of treating it from the side. So easily. Pull down. So can move around. So we can observe the inside bit of the machine. I hope everyone is watching clearly such that we can describe the inside bit of the machine and the mechanisms that the machine has got for us to come up with a proper espresso coffee and also the cappuccinos that we normally use for our daily breakfast. Some over here. All right. So I've taken off the hot cup tray, the tray that helps me to hold the cups on top so that they warm up. So I've cleared that area so I can access the inside bit of the machine. Now I will also need to take the drip tray out so we can observe the area where our water escapes from. Okay? So you can see how it looks. I would say it looks beautiful. I don't know where it's working, but yeah, it looks so beautiful because we are now trying to observe the inside bit of the machine, and we are looking at a very special part. You can see some, looks like an engine, you know? Okay. Also check out. Right, that's it. So we are going to look at the parts of the machine and the function, probably to kind of get a very big understanding on how these parts function, such that we also get a kind of understanding on exactly how are the parts functioning to help us prepare our coffee. So I'll start with how the coffee generates in the water into what we call a tank. So number one, the machine has got an inlet. This is an inlet water pipe So this pipe allows the water by means of plumbing. You plumb this inlet water pipe inside or onto the plumbing line, which is the main water source, such that it is open to access the water through the machine to the boiler. So at this moment, let's look at the part that helps us generate the water into the machine. It's a kind of big task, but we are going to take a look at it such that everyone gets a chance. Okay, so with this machine, it has got this component here. It has got a component here, and this part has got a one-way inlet valve that allows water to go inside the pump, and it will not allow the water to come out at any one time, such that there is a consistent flow of water to one direction. At this time, let's get to this is a very important device onto this machine. This is a complete water pump. Actually, it's a rotary water pump. It's so different from other pumps, because some other pumps are vibration water pump. This one is a commercial, yes, but it's a rotary water pump. It is rotary because it helps. There is a saturation of the way how water is being drained from the main source into the boiler itself. So there is a rotation of water generation into the tank. So this part alone serves as the water pump. And here we are having our motor. So motor will generate the electrical mechanism to allow the pump to rotate at any one time to generate in water into the tank. Okay, so let's have a look at the tank in particular. So if you look at this tank, yeah, it's too tiny, but it serves the purpose. The tinier it is, that's how tough it is. You can look at it at all the sides. This contains about 3 liters into it inside. So it's being generated, water is being generated in using the pump. The pump allows water to go inside the tank from the water main source. So at this moment, inside the water tank, we have got on the side here, in the side, you can see some, this is a frame. If you look at this, it's called a frame. So it supports the heating element. So we have a heating element inside the boiler. So this heating element helps the boiler to heat up at any one time. So for a 3-liter tank, we are expecting to have an element of about 1,500 watts inside. Sounds so big, but for a consistency of service, when you're at the counter and you're looking at serving such a number of people, the machine needs consistent temperature of water supplied through the group head. So the heating element maintains enough heat to actually serve a lot of cups. This machine can serve, I'm sure it can stand out and serve about 500 people, even if you're doing a function or you're in a beach or somewhere, you can kind of easily use it. Okay, so there is another device here, another component here. We need to take a look at it. I just grabbed the top off of it. This is how it is being covered. It's so protected. This is a pressure starter switch, okay, or a pressure regulator. So at this moment, if the machine has heated up, or you're having so much steam into your machine coming out through your steam one, there is much easier kind of solution that this part can be adjusted or regulated to ensure that you get stable steam by when you are preparing your espresso, your cappuccinos or any other milk-based drink. Okay, so on top here. Still, if you look at the top of the machine, we have got several kind of devices, but they are so important that each and every person needs to kind of take a look at them. Number one, we have got, I'm sure this is our coil. This coil supports the valve. We've got another valve here for a water inlet. This valve supports one-way transfer of water from the main water supply to where you are using it. You can be opening a hot water. You can be extracting your coffee immediately when you press. To extract coffee coming out, the water is refilled immediately. Ask yourself, how does that happen? This tiny wire here, each machine has got these components. From wherever you are, if you are a barista or you are having this machine somewhere, they've got all these components. If you look at this component, this is a water level sensor. Look at it. This is a water level sensor, but it helps to kind of figure out how much water you require to draw out of the machine, and it is replaced. So as the water refills in your tank, the water level sensor senses enough amount of water is required into your tank, and the machine stops. Okay, I would say the pump stops pumping because it figures out that there is enough water into the tank, and then it stops. When you draw out water from your tank, you immediately hear a sound like so. That sound is a refilling sound. If it doesn't do that, then maybe you have enough water. So yeah, we've got these two valves here. These are safety release valves. Safety release valves. So the machine inside generates a lot of pressure. So there is heat exchange into this machine inside. It's got a heat exchanger. So it allows steam to build into the boiler inside. So at the moment, this valve helps the steam to kind of release the excess flow of the steam, and then they also shut. if the more the steam releases out, the more it shuts out if it has already got enough steam required into the machine. The whole electronic, right? Slowly. So I've got this part here. I hope I can get it out. I've got this part here. So important, also very, very important for your machine. It's kind of being hidden, but we need to kind of also observe it and we get to know its function. Okay. Just hold there. Yeah. Okay. This guy out. Gently, gently, gently. We get this guy out. Some proper tools to get all the parts out so we can observe it properly. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. So I have to also get this one out. Good. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Here, we got it. I have it here. Okay. This part here, you can see it properly. I hope everyone is seeing it. I need to get it out. I need to get it out gently without damaging it. Gently. Without damaging anything. Actually, so gently. There, got it. All right. Look at that. Look at that. So this is an electronic control box we have got. So it's a device that controls all our electronic support to the machine. Right? We should get it out so we can use this chance to, gently kind of look at what happened or what it is all about. All right, here, look. Looks so simple, but that's what happened, is it? All right. That's it. Look. Okay. So this is an electronic control box. So, or a circuit board that helps the machine to function. It's got a power here. So this power helps to generate enough power. Like it contains about 240 volts. And then it is supported by different tiny capacitors here. So we've got a relay here, a relay switch that allows to open and close the transfer of any button you're pressing for your espresso machine. All right, so let's go to the front. So we can. Okay, so we are back to the front view of the machine. The front view of the machine, as we're having our knobs here. These are our knobs. This can be easily taken off, but I'm sure some knobs you need the screws. You open up the topmost cover, and then there is a screw inside, or sometimes it's an iron key that you need to use for you to open. So I've got this like extraction switch, and I've got my switch for the grinder. It's a very simple machine. Anyone can kind of, look at it. So we've got, this is a tight glass.
Actually,
Kind of show you how much water you've got in the machine, and if you don't kind of having enough water in the machine, yeah, there will be trouble. So you always make sure that you observe your sight glass. We've also got our, this is also so important, okay? This is our gauge. So it's got, mine has got two dials. One dial, the one below, it's a water, it's a water pressure dial, and the one on top, I've got a steam pressure dial for the same my pressure gauge. So this is supported by the pump. If the pump pressure is low, if the pump pressure is high, so you can observe it from here. So we are looking at a dial because it has got some blue, green, white, and red. So very easily, if you're having about 9.5 bars, that is pressure, water pressure bar, so you are on the right track. If you're going beyond that, then there is something wrong, and then you might need to kind of adjust your pump. So you also have a steam pressure. At this moment, you're looking at 1 to around 1.5 pressure bar. That is a steam pressure at that moment. If it goes beyond 1.5 to more than 2, then you need to kind of observe your gauge. So always we would be having trouble with our either espresso or steaming your milk. You might have big bubbles or high pressure. So if you always monitor your gauge, you would be seeing like the gauge is having issue or it does not have any issue. And if the gauge is dead, you might as well need to replace it for any one time. So this is our group head here, but it's a full component. A group head is always comprised of this. This is a coil, and inside the coil there is what we've got our solenoid. Take it out gently. Take it out gently. We've got our solenoid valve inside. Okay. We've got our solenoid valve inside. Yeah, just so I take it out. Let's look at this one. Okay, this is how it looks like. Just don't want to pull the other one out, but I've got it here. Look at that. So this is how it moves. So this is our coil. So coil, this is the electronic coil. So it uses a magnetic frequency to help transfer enough grip valve. And the valve inside the valve, we've got kind of a real valve inside. There's a spring inside, so that's what we call a valve. This is so important. If it has some issues, you can hardly get your anything on the group head. You would always get almost nothing. Pressure, you just see kind of air coming out or steam or your button and nothing comes out. If these are blocked, look down here. If the valve is blocked, you can hardly get anything out because it's got some tiny, tiny holes into it. So if there is any blockage, there will be nothing like flow of, your water through. And sometimes it's brought about if you don't plumb your machine with a water filter. So all the alkalines and the scales goes and blocks all the pipelines and all the waste. So you can hardly, if you don't clean it, if you don't also descale your machine, so that's what happens to machines that go dead. So at the moment, inside here, we have got what we call rubber gaskets. These gaskets help to grab, the group handles or your portafilter. So it helps to grab it because there's no way how it can seal properly if you don't have them inside. But the problem we are having, if you don't kind of, after dosing and clean off the granules of the portafilter, you will always cut those gaskets within short period of time. You would be replacing several of them. So it's important to dose your coffee, have enough coffee, and then clean out the granules like the loose on the ring. Then you would be able to insert with your gasket. Now we're having a steam one at this moment. So our steam one is so important at this moment. For your steam one to always should have these tips cleaned very well. If you don't clean the tip, then at the end of the day, there is always milk on it. And you kind of open your steam everywhere you steam your milk. Yeah, everywhere you steam your milk, you're sure that this is done well. All right, so we've got our drainage here. So in most cases, the drainage is an issue, always kind of overflowing and makes a slow movement of water all over and also making a mess to the whole counter. So if it's not kind of plumbed well or directed very well to the water or to your extracted water into the drip tray, the water will just flow, and also ensure that the gradient flow of your pipeline is shifted to the right direction. Okay, so ensure that my machine lastly, it has got a manual refill, and those that have got manual refill, you can always use all your necessities to ensure that your machine is kept intact. So with you observing a manual refill, you've got your sight glass. So it's very easy for you to kind of look at the sight glass to ensure that you have refilled enough water in your machine. So I assume that we have got at least hello? Hello? Hi, Andre. Can you hear me? Hi, Andre. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Yes. So that has been a little bit of what exactly happened into the machine inside. We've dismantled it. We've looked through it inside. However big the machine is, it has the same concept and function. Some machines are modernized, but we are looking at how do we extract our coffee out. So the mechanism remains the same. So I would like to end with the questions that we mostly get from each and every person who's brewing coffee or who's using the machines. They are always frequently asked questions that I prefer to kind of look at, and we get the right answers for the questions that we always get from friends, from baristas, from each and every person. Maybe it might be one of your questions out there. Let me get the question here. Okay, so here we go. So let me start with the grinder. So in most cases, we're having questions like, how long can coffee beans be left in a hopper? So number one, I would say not more than a day, because they will be stale. So you can either keep it in a container somewhere so that you don't wait for it to get contaminated. So how long can ground coffee be left in a dossier? Not more than an hour. I would suggest. How long can a grinder blade be changed? I would suggest after grinding, that's too much. Should be about, depends on how busy you are at your place, but at least something like, I would say like 300 to like 500 kgs of coffee, okay? That's about 6 to 9 months. You would change your grinding blade because you'd be getting an inconsistent grind, or the grinder would be making a lot of noise around the counter. So always be conscious about it. Another question, if I change the type of coffee beans I use, does the grinder need adjusting? The answer is yes. The grinder needs resetting every time the bean is changed. Ensure the correct grind for a particular bean. Another question, Does the grinder need adjusting during the day? My answer would be several factors can affect the grind of the coffee during the day. Therefore, extraction time should be set several times per day. And if it is too long or too short, the grinder should be done a weekly cleaning procedure. Now we go onto our espresso machine. Frequently asked questions. Can a single or double group handle be used in either group head? I would say yes. I would say yes. You can use any group handle in any group head, depending if it belongs to that machine. Another question, can I use a double group handle with only one shot of coffee in it? I would say definitely no. Only ever use a double group handle with 2 coffee shots. Another question, can I leave the espresso machine switched on overnight? The answer is yes, you can if you wish. If you leave it switched on, it uses some power overnight. However, the machine does not have to warm up from cold the following morning, which can take about literally 30 minutes. Another question. Sometimes there's a difficulty in forming the milk. Is all milk the same? I would say definitely not. There is much inconsistency in milk. It's better to use a full cream milk. However, even then, there can be a great difference between brands, and also same brand can exhibit different characteristics and different styles. It is advisable to find a brand that is suitable for you and stick to that. So troubleshooting the espresso coffee machine. If the machine has no power, please check the machine switch whether it is on. Okay? If your espresso machine has no power, please ensure that you check whether the power is switched on. And if it's not switched on, also check your main water supply. Check the plug socket if it is working, and also try in a different switches. You may find your switch is having a problem. So with your machine, if there's no water or steam coming out of your espresso machine, ensure that your machine have had enough time to heat up or warm up. Approximately 30 minutes could be enough for you to kind of look at observe your machine whether it has got enough steam or it's built enough steam. Ensure that the isolation tap or water feed pipe into the machine is in the right position. If hot water or steam has been run off continuously to the extent that the boiler is empty, it may take few minutes to recharge. Then it is ready again for you to use it. So drips under the machine. If you've got some drips under the machine, remove the drip tray like we said, so you can observe the inside and you see whether the drainage box is full. If it is full, then you can easily try to get it to a position or check it to ensure that the water can get access to the drainage very well. If it is the waste pipe or drainage pipe which is folded, unfold it properly such that you unblock the flow of the debris inside and clear the way. dripping group head. If the group head, as you insert your group handle, if the group head is dripping when you're extracting your espresso, that means you're having a worn out gasket that needs replacing immediately. So if you're having low steam on your machine, then you need to clean the holes, the tiny holes that you've got on your steam wand to ensure that they are unblocked. You can use a very small, tiny device. You can, some people use toothpicks, but be careful. It can just get broken inside and you will be in trouble. So it's always better to get a right device. You can get a needle for it. It's more stiff and it's very hard for it to kind of get broken. So you unblock the hole to kind of have the nozzle releasing enough steam required. So another thing, extraction time of your espresso is taking less than, let me say, 20 seconds. Okay, because we're looking at 20 to 8 or 10. Check your grind. Is it probably too coarse or needs to be grinded finer? So I'm talking about calibrate your grind to ensure that the flow or your path. All right, so I'm sure that's what we have had, and I think it is so helpful for us. At this moment, if there is any question, if there is anything we need to share to add on what we have covered, I'll get back to Mr. Andre to kind of link us together, and then we see how we can kind of get good interaction during this course. Hi, Mr. Andre. Hello? Hello, Mr. Andre. Hello?
Yes, hello, can you?
Yes, Mr. Andre, I can hear you. I would love to get back to you. Yes.
Thank you very much for the lessons, and this is really great that I've never had a chance first to get kind or such a lesson that takes me through everything that you've told us today. I've never got a chance whereby I see a machine being opened and someone takes me through the whole process, the whole steps on how the machine functions. I really appreciate. So I think we have a question from Mr. Don Williams. Mr. Don Williams, you can unmute, then you ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, guys.
Okay, good evening.
Hope you're good. Now, Abdul. Mr. Abdul.
I can hear you. Yes, Mr. William.
My machine has a habit of leaking water under the group head. What could be the problem?
Yes, so I think we I talked about that problem. If you insert your group handle under the group head, you're likely having a problem of the gasket. Okay, the group head seals are worn out, and change them immediately to kind of stop having mixed flow of water into a cup of espresso. So change your gasket.
No. The thing is, it's not giving water from the group head. You know that line behind the group head? It's under, actually. That line there. It's where the water comes from, not from the group head. It's not because I've inserted wrongly or the thing is old. The machine is new. There's somewhere it leaks water. It flows
Okay.
on the. You see where the water gauge is.
Okay. Number one, if it's not the group head which is leaking, then remove the drip tray. Remove the drip tray and check whether your drainage has been properly installed. If the drainage is not properly installed, it will always get full and then it will drip outside. Number two, if your valve and it has an ignition, it will always have a leak. On the side, it will always leak, because if there's any leakage from the top, that means you're having a problem. One, it's either drainage. Two, if your valves are leaking. Three, you can also have your topmost part, which is almost dark. Yeah, if it's not tightened properly, water escapes through these channels, and then you can always have a messy kind of a surface over here. So please take those points or get a required person who is always with you, either your maintenance guy, to help you take these points to make sure that they are tightened well. That is if you are getting your water through the group head.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay,
All right.
William,
You're
the
welcome.
question that you wanted, you got the right response?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's great. So, Mr. Edega, do you have any question? I think Mr. Edega is. Mr. Edega, unmute your audio. Unmute your audio. We can't hear you. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So, okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening once again, guys. I think I don't have a question yet. I don't have a question, but I want to appreciate for this evening lecture. I so appreciate.
That's great. Thank you so much. I see we have Mr. Issa. Do you have any question? Mr. Issa, unmute your audio. Mr. Isma, sorry, Isma, unmute your audio.
So am I clear?
Yeah, we can get you now.
So good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
So for me, the question I have is, for me, I want to know the cause of this, because sometimes you may find that water is coming out from the steam which is in the machine, and the water comes from, like, hot water comes from the water power very well, but you find that the machine is not refilling water when you put on the machine, as we used to do. Like, you come, you put on the machine, it shows that it's refilling water, but you find that steam is inside, and but water is not coming out, passing out proof where it's like to brew coffee, but you find that hot water is coming out from the machine and steam is inside, but no water passing. So how can you solve that, sir? And what causes that?
Okay, Mr. Abdul, the question goes to you.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Isma. Yeah, that's a very good question, and I think often it is common. The problem, number one, with that is if your machine, like I told you, the machine always refill water into the tank, and as the tank is filled, it has a sensor that stops the pump from generating water into the pump. We already saw that. So the problem you're having, if the water probe goes into idle, it can hardly sense the water movement into the tank. So your tank overfills. So if your tank overfills, it goes beyond where it's supposed to stop. You can hardly you can hardly get steam out. So if you can't get steam out, you cannot get enough or hot water through the group head. So what you have to do is, number one, clean your water sensor probe, or if you have some right personnel there who's trying to help with cleaning and servicing of your machine, he should make sure that he pulls up the water sensor probe, clean it, or replace it, because it might be having issues with sensitivity. So if it is overfilling, it also needs to be redirected to a position where it does not overfill. The machine has a gap inside which allows heat exchange. So it only generates enough water, which is hot, and then enough space for steam. So if all is covered, you can hardly get steam, you will only get water out. So your machine has to be drained such that it's drained out, it refills, and also your water level sensor is being positioned to allow water to kind of stop to a level that's required for a machine to boil and also generate enough steam for you to be able to utilize the steam well. So the machine by then it will be functioning well.
Okay, Mr. Isuma, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Do we have any other question, guys? All right. So, Mr. Abdallah, thank you so much. But I also have one question.
Yes, please.
Now, most of the baristas, now like me, it's my first time. Okay, I have never used such a machine that is combined with a grinder. You get my point?
Yes.
Yeah, so remember, we are told as baristas that grinders are really affected with the weather change. Remember, the espresso machine is very hot when it's functioning, or it depends on the how busy you are, but it's always creating heat. It's not creating a suitable environment for the grinder to do what? To operate. That means every time I have to adjust my grinder to the coarse side, to the fine side, due to the heat exerted on the grinder inserted in the machine. So what technique is there that helps the grinder function very well in terms of weather and in terms of functioning?
Okay. So number one, this machine is as old as you can see it. Okay. What they did to this machine, it has got kind of a fan under it. It has a fan. It has a fan. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a fan under that helps to support kind of consistent temperature onto the grinder. If when the grinder is grinding, the fan has to be on. So it supports the grinder to ensure that the temperature of the grinder is not contradicted with the, the heat that the boiler has created in the machine. So the latest machines are being done after the study of the first, these E61s that were made before. So they kind of made more study, you're right, but they are now using modern technologized machines, which is not this one. But the output we are looking at is the mechanism are the same. Only that the components, like they kind of advance it with the you can see some switchboard to make sure that the electronic bit of it is being configured not to be left behind, because some of the parts that the machine has got are latest parts, but still it can function. So that means the new machines have been studied and they've been upgraded. So this one had a fan. It has got a fan actually that supports the grinder to kind of move, and it's not having any problem with any increasingly temperature into it.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the other question that I have is, what is the difference, since you have the technical part of the different machines, what is the difference between a semi-automatic machine, a manual machine, and an automatic machine, not forgetting the hybrid? Every time I see a new machine coming out, it is called a hybrid. So tell us the differences between those machines.
So if I'm talking about a manual machine, if I'm talking about a manual machine, number one, a full manual machine are the machines that have got levers. Okay? The machines that have got levers, these are manual machines. They've got levers. Some of them have, depending on how the mechanism is, but they are not using buttons. Okay? Then the semi-automatic machine, we are having this. I would call it a semi-automatic machine because you're using your button to kind of run your machine. So you're using the button. If you're talking about an automatic machine, the automatic machine is a system.
The network is off. I can't hear you. You had talking about the automatic machine. Right. Mr. Abdul, the internet I think is off. All right, so guys, like you see, as Mr. Abdul's network is getting connected, this is a session that has been proudly brought to you by Gulf&Blends Barista Academy, and these guys are found in Uganda. So he will be giving us his contact, or just in case he is off, I can try to get his contact. I'll be pinning it in the description below. And just in case you are watching this video and it's your first time to join our YouTube channel, please feel free to subscribe. And just in case you are also watching it from Facebook, kindly follow our page. So I see Mr. Edgar raising up his hand. Mr. Edgar, do you have any question?
I think my question was to be supposed to go to Mr. Abdul, and unfortunately he's left.
Okay, you can try asking then.
Because the challenge I had, or the question I have, I was trying to open the mesh in the group head.
It was what?
Trying to open that's a nail that ties the mesh in the group head.
We call it a screen.
Yeah, the screen.
The screen.
Yeah, thank you. That screen,
okay.
But it failed to open. The nail could not open. I tried because I found someone maybe had tried, instead of opening, maybe he was maybe closing. So I tried, and it could not open, and up to this time it is not working, but I know it is having a problem inside there. So what can I do?
Now basically in the mechanic term, we call that in my language, when you open something, we say omusumali gunabye. So when you try to insist and open something, there is going to be a loose end whereby you see that nail is washing off. It's kind of getting damaged. You get my point, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of getting damaged, and you are going to find out that every time you try to unscrew, remember that is not a nail. It is a very, very important element that allows water. It has holes inside of it that allows the water pass through to the green screen. That's where the water comes from, and it gets to do what? To insert onto the coffee grounds, and it's going to exert the pressure. So I think I would give you an advice to go to a mechanic store. Okay, when you go to the mechanic store, they have those sprays that allow a nail to easily unscrew. You can easily spray it, then easily do what? You can easily unscrew that nail, but don't use energy again. Just go and look for that spray. I've forgotten the name, but just in case just in case I remember that name, I'll send it to you. But you can try out a mechanic who can easily help you by getting that spray and easily loosen it. So Mr. Abdul is back. Mr. Abdul.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we have a question here. Mr. Edgar tried opening that nail that tightens up the screen of the group head. Mr. Abdul, your network is on and off. Hello.
Yes, I can
Mr.
hear
Abdul?
you.
Yeah, Mr. Edgar,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mr. Edgar, try to direct your question to Mr. Abdul. I might change your question.
Mr. Abdul, welcome back again. The challenge or the question is, I tried to open the nail which ties the screen in the group head. But unfortunately, I found that nail that it was already damaged, and I tried. It was getting worse, and it could not open. It could not lose. So, what advice could you give?
Okay. Which kind of nail is that, or which kind of screw is that?
You know,
how describe it the way. Is it a flat? Is it a star? Is it an RNC screw? It is the kind of big.
It is star.
It's a star screw. Okay. So what you would do, kind of look for what we call a WD spray. It's called a WD spray. Actually, it's an anti-rust spray. Okay? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, use a WD-40. It's an anti-rust spray. Make sure that you spray on it almost the whole, maybe if you're closing, then at least try it the following day. Don't use a lot of force, but gently, back and forth, you'll find the screw will unlock. Use that spray, because the more you use a force, that screw might end up damaging the shower head, and you will end up replacing a lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we are on Mr. Andrea.
Yes, Mr.
Is busy.
Mr. Andre.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you were still telling us about the automatic machine and the hybrid machine.
Yes, like I explained, the automatic machine, yes, it is it is being kind of, it comprises of a button. The buttons, it's got like, these ones have these switches, but an automatic machine, fully automatic, it would have buttons over here, and these buttons would have like a single espresso, maybe a ristretto, then it's having a double espresso, a lungo here, and then it has also an override, which is always the X button on it. So these buttons are being programmed. You can program it yourself using a manual. If you have a manual, you can read it carefully, you find a way of pressing the dials, and you reprogram it according to the seconds of extraction you're looking for. Okay, that is the fully automatic. So if you're talking about the hybrid, actually few of them, we do have them here because of their price are so high. The hybrid machines, they are fully automatic. But what makes them hybrid is the technology that are imbued into those machines. So number one, they have group heads. I would say 2 or 3 group heads. But these group heads are manned with, we call them heating sensors. They have heating sensors. Those heating sensors always always maintain the temperature of the group head. So the group heads are always heated by those heating sensors. So it senses and then generates in enough kind of temperature for the group head to be hot at any one time when you are serving. That is for the hybrid in most cases, which is not in all these other machines. You have to always press and kind of release hot water to ensure that the group heads are hot enough to contain the mix or the coffee you're going to prepare. So that's for the hybrid. And another thing, the other types of hybrids we are looking at, these are machines that have got software. I would say one that I've used is Rocket or Black Eagle. I would say Simonelli Black Eagle. So they have got a software, and this software is run into the system, like we said. So what they do, if you want to regulate the temperature or you want to increase the pressure of the machine, just go to the app, get the app, or the machine comes with the app. So you can increase the pressure according to the figures that you're looking at. So those are hybrid, and those are the technologies that these machines are now having. Though we don't have enough of that inside, but you have it more, I'm sure, in your country. So those are the different types and mechanisms of those machines that you've asked me.
All right, so thank you very much for that. Mr. Abdul, kindly tell us where you are, your contact, so that people can get to easily understand you much more better.
All right.
Yes, Mr.
Hello?
Abdul. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, kindly tell us the academy, the contact, and how we can easily reach you.
So actually, this is Gulf&Blends Coffee Academy. Yeah, we always call ourselves the coffee culture. This is our tagline, and I'm sure each and everyone who has been following us, who have been watching Barista Unveils shows, we have been moving together to ensure that each and every person who loves coffee can always move along with us. So we are located in Kampala, we are located in the capital city. So via Ruvaga, if you know where Ruvaga is, that's where we are. There is South Media very close there. So at that location, it's just like 5 minutes. You can reach us. Gulf&Blends Coffee Academy. So here we are. On our dial, so you can find us at Gulf&Blends Coffee on our Facebook, Gulf&Blends Coffee. You can find us on Twitter, the same, and also our Gmail, gulfblends@gmail.com. I can give you our contact, our number, in case you need to join us, in case you want to train with us, in case you have any questions, in case you need a support in one way or the other, that is to deal with coffee and maybe coffee equipment. You can reach our WhatsApp on 0701 or +256 for those who are not in Uganda. You dial +256 701 104027. I have another number that you can dial to reach us. +256 703 074 365. You can dial those numbers and you can reach us at any time. Whether it is late, yeah, we can find solutions for any kind of condition that comes along.
All right. Thank you very, very much for this wonderful session whereby, trust me, every time we get to host Mr. Abdal, I get to learn more and more, a lot of new things. Like I've told you, it's my first time being open for the machine and entirely having the full lecture. It's my first time also telling me something about the espresso machine combined with the grinder at the same time, knowing the different temperatures. It's really, really wonderful. Trust me, it's really wonderful. Truth is, when you ask me different questions, I won't be able to tell you that this part is this, this, and this, and this. But I have to review this video, watch again, and while I am also trying to open my machine to relate the different types of, all the different kinds of hardwares with the hardwares that I have in my machine. And just in case I have a question for you, I'll just send it to the contact that you've given to us through WhatsApp. So guys, do we have any other question?
Mr. Andre.
Question, Mr. Isma? Yeah.
Mr. Andre.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
I am also trying to open my machine to relate the different types of, all the different kinds of hardwares with the hardwares that I have. Someone is replaying the audio. I don't know if that person, but I think you need to use WhatsApp. So, guys, do we have any other question? Mr. Isma? Yeah. Yes, sir. Hello. Mr. Edgar, unmute your, reduce the voice of the laptop or the other phone that you're using because it's sending back the audio. Okay, reduce that volume. It's trying to echo out again. All right, thank you. So, Mr. Abdul, you're calling me?
Yes. Sorry, I haven't heard the question from our brother. His audio, I think there is some configuration with his communication. So, sure. My advice, I just want to throw this my fellow baristas or anyone following us who might be the owner of the machine. So I would be of the view that if you are to open your machine and you want to kind of get exposed or get more knowledge into what we have covered, it's better to have some technical personnel with you such that you don't get electric shock at any one time, because it would be a little bit dangerous if you tend to do it without the help of someone for a start before you get much used the opening of the machine.
All right, thank you very much. So like you've had Mr. Abdullah said, don't open your machine just in case you're not sure of what you're doing. Yeah, I also used to do that, whereby I really wanted to explore and I found myself destroying a machine for which I had to pay for. But thanks very much for that advice. Mr. Digger, do you have the question?
I think I'm good.
Okay, so I think that's it for today. We have been looking at the different parts of we have been looking at the different parts of the espresso machine, whereby Mr. Abdul, straight out from Gulf and Blends Barista Academy, who call themselves still as the coffee culture. He has been taking us through a very wonderful topic through which very many baristas right from YouTube who are saying thank you very much, because they had also different struggles, and the questions they had, you have answered them. So I think we shall be having a closure of this wonderful session. And I think just in case Mr. Abdul has anything to say, we can easily do it. We can easily say it out, because we are trying to summarize and end up this session. So the moderator of the day, Mr. Abdul, are you saying anything before I close this session?
Yeah, actually, just to thank the team, I've been, seeing some of the friends, our legends, people who have been following the shows. I've seen them, each and every person. They have been, not letting us behind. They've been always moving along with us. I feel like so kind of amazed having you always following us and also supporting, to promote, I'm promoting Ugandan coffee. Whoever is there should always try this coffee. We have the best coffee, and this is the only way that we can improve, either the consumption or the best in coffee, by sharing the knowledge that we have, and also sharing, discussing the issues that our friends out there are having with their coffee preparations and the tools that they are using. So the solutions, we have them. We are at Gulf&Blends Coffee Academy, and in case there is always a question you're having or any problem you're having, that we are able to kind of help you as our brothers out there. We are always ready to kind of work in hand with you, taking this fraternity forward.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So I think that's what we had for the day. Thanks, Mr. Ismail Diga, different kinds of baristas who have been attending, and Mr. Abdul, say thanks to the camera person who has not let us down into our session. Much thanks to the camera person. And I think that is the sign of the Gulf&Blends, the coffee culture. And like you see, that's the tester's coffee wheel that helps us test different kinds of coffees, whereby we get the different flavors and different tastes within the coffee. Thanks very much for that, Mr. Abdallah. So I think those watching live, share this video on Facebook, on YouTube, any way you feel like sharing it, so that your grandmother or grandfather can also start enjoying coffee, not forgetting to become a barista. So guys, I think I'll sign out and see you in another video. So I think we shall be passing an ad on what will be next in our session. Thank you very much, guys.